Yeah, good morning, Eric.
Morning, Mr. K.
All right, so today is a video review, and the topic is about dopamine. Yep, and yeah, I have shared three links to our view, and then we may talk about the things that involve in it, and also some of your thinkings, your thoughts,
Mm,
and what catch my attention. Actually, there are a few because uh, they cover actually quite a lot of things. Um, Firstly is the scoring system. Yeah, the scoring system. In one of the link it says uh, dopamine is like something scoring system, and then because of this, it generates motivation as well as craving, and then because of this, it can affect us positive and negatively. Yep. And then the negatives, the negative side is about something like addiction, which is what my topic title means, which is the dopamine trap. And yeah, many others also catch my attention. For example, the dopamine fasting. This is actually a very new idea to me. I have never heard of. People can do fasting. It is not the dietary fasting. It is like dopamine fasting, not doing things uh, to lower down or to to mitigate the sensitivity of dopamine. Yep, and also the other on the other hand, dopamine and endorphin. Yeah, this is also what catch my attention in this video. Yep. So, how about you? What catch your attention uh, on these videos?
mm. And what catch my attention, I think the first thing is, uh, I think it's called peptides. Yeah, peptides. Uh, and this is also like like a chemical which is like dopamines, but
Mm.
it's this is like give you peace, give you mm, give you like mm, oh yeah, I actually forget already.
Mm.
And also it seems like in one of the video it say that doing exercise will will increase this level the
Oh,
peptides.
also, I think
Uh,
this is the terms I use endorphin. So, actually, we are talking the same thing, right? Nathan
is
Thai,
there
right?
mm, I'm not sure whether they are the same thing. Yeah.
I remember in the videos like doing exercise and eating something spicy. Uh, well, uh, our brain would generate, our body would generate the this chemical effect. Is it?
I forget already. Mm.
Okay.
And and I did my research. I found that the peptides is one of the amino acids because
Mm.
he also mentioned in one of the video. And when I heard about yeah, it's one of the amino acids, and then yeah, because I know that amino acids is come from the proteins, so I kind of like I kind
Oh.
of like have some have some supplies, and then I
Mm.
go do some research. Yeah,
Okay.
and the peptides is really is a is one of the amino acids,
Mm.
and you can obtain it in a protein rich food,
Oh.
and especially from the from the animal animal proteins.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yep. So for this one, what do you mean? Do you mean that whenever we eat something contains this kind of protein, and then we will our body will generate these chemical effects, or what?
It's in the food. Yeah,
Mm.
the peptide is in the food.
Mm.
So just like other amino acids.
Yeah. Yeah. So is this related to what we say, like your experience, for example, after switching to carnivore diet, and then you feel less desire to, like, for example, eat the dessert or some other unhealthy thing?
Eating the dessert, I think I don't have that much desire. And I have some experience after I switch to the keto or the carnivore diet, and then every time I eat some carbohydrate,
Mm.
and the carbohydrate not necessarily is a very very bad one. Could be like a moderate, and it could be like not very bad, and it's acceptable in keto diet. But every time I eat the I eat a carb, and then after that I will have the desire want to eat more, want to eat some sweet, some sugar. And I give you two of the example.
Yeah.
Yesterday night I eat some mango, and it is kind of like the green mangoes. So this is not that sweet. Yeah, not sweet, and a little bit sour. But it definitely contains some carbs. And then after I eat mangoes, and then after I finish my dinner, I will think, oh yeah, I still left some mango in my refrigerators. Why don't I take out the container and then eat some more? And I and after I have this thought, I quickly realize that, oh, I'm actually craving for food, and this is not something I usually would have done in the past. Yeah, and also another example is because Chinese New Year we eat the mandarin orange, and
Yeah.
at one time I eat half of them. Yeah, half of the mandarin orange, and then after that I go out with my girlfriends, and when I go to downstairs, because it seems like we have some plan to go to a shopping mall, and there's a McDonald's there, and I asked my girlfriend, yeah, maybe we can grab some ice cream, McDonald's ice cream. But after I say all this, I quickly realized that, oh, why do I need to eat ice cream?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
that is the McDonald's, the fast food restaurant, is just very near to your living place, right? So every day you will get past that restaurant, is it?
I will not get past. I will not pass through the McDonald's, but the McDonald's branches is in our living area, so we can walk to there.
Yeah.
But this is not
So
the
I
main
think
point. I think
that
this is
must
not the
be the
main point.
Mandarin orange. Yep. Yeah. You go ahead.
Yeah. So I kind of like have the awareness, try to avoid the carbs.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah. So in your case, it is like to me, it is like maybe affected by, I'm not sure, maybe by two things. First is like after you consume the carbs and your body will kind of like recognize, oh, this is carbohydrates, and maybe it generate the craving, similar to scoring system. You want more, you want the carbs more, and yeah, so that it make you have the intention or the attempts to try more, to buy some and eat. And the other is like the other one I actually not very familiar with, which is the things that you mentioned, like some acid or what, and then it affects um uh it also affects yeah, I think it's an endorphin. Yeah, but I don't know the terms that you use. I forgot already. Yep. And because
How to spell
um
endorphin?
oh, ENDORPHIN.
Oh, okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Mm. Yep. So I think in that case it's mostly because of I think it's the carbohydrates, and then uh also the dopamine, maybe. Yeah. And then act like a scoring system.
Yeah, I think they are the same. Yeah, based on my research.
Mm.
Okay, but they are not the exactly same. This is not equal. This is kind of like one is one of the subsets.
Oh, so
Mm.
how's the terms you use? How do you spell it?
PEPTIDES,
T
peptides.
I D E S. Okay. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, so this is one of the problem
Mm.
having having Chinese video,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yes, you're right.
Spend around 5 minutes to figure out what you're talking.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah, and then yeah, when we talk about uh dopamine, in your life, uh do you think dopamine impact you uh or brings you some uh difficulties, or something you don't like to see, or some maybe negative things to you?
I think in modern life, we every day have a spike of the dopamine.
Mm.
Mm, it's not only triggered by the nature. I mean, it's by the physical world. It's also triggered by the virtual world. Specifically, what I mentioned is your apps. When you look about your phones,
Mm.
do your phones have like the small red dot? Yeah, small red dot in some apps, or some number one, number two, number three, maybe on your WhatsApp apps.
Ah, yeah, yeah,
Would
yeah.
you have the desire to click inside, and then, for example, it's a WhatsApp, click inside the WhatsApp and then click into the chat and then
Yeah.
clear the chat, and then maybe you scroll down, see some message, maybe you
Mm.
don't, and then you
Mm.
just click. So what you are doing is actually you are looking some small dot, you are looking some red dot, some
Mm.
number on your apps, and then you just click inside, okay, clear, and then exit the apps.
Mm. Yeah.
And then normally you like to click the setting, and to click the setting on your phone and then clear all the apps. So clear all the apps in the background, but
Mm.
they're
Yep.
still running in the background.
Mm.
uh, so this is also dopamine. Yeah, dopamine make you to do that. What's the meaning of doing this? And also a lot of notification. Yeah, how many times your phone beeps every day? How many email you receive every day?
Yeah.
How many email really, really important every you receive every day? None of them.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. This really affects us so much. Actually, we use the phone really, really more and more frequently. Yep.
And just now you talk about the peptides. I think a better example is not about my diet, whether I desire the food or not. A better example is I experience the peace, I experience the mental clarity in my daily life. I don't need to spend time to watch some drama, to watch some enemies, to kind of like regain, quote unquote, regain my energy or give me some pleasure, so I can do something important. Yeah, do some work. I don't need that. So I think this is a better example. And I remember I did mention in the past, mental clarity is an underrated benefit of carnivore diet or ketogenic diet. And how underrated it was? Yeah. It's kind of like, even though the carnivore diet or the ketogenic diet can give you the same exactly benefit of health to your body compared to the paleo diet, compared to the omnivore diet, it's still worth to try. It's still worth to do, because you can experience the mental clarity. And even though you need to spend a little bit more money to purchase the foods, but it's all worth it. Yeah. How many people spend time, spend energy, spend money to kind of like acquire more mental clarity, mental freedom? Yeah. So the cost is the cost of eating. I mean, the additional cost of eating the carnivore or ketogenic diet, the additional cost, the marginal cost, kind of like this is something, the price you pay for the mental clarity. So even though they achieve the same benefit of the health, it's still worth to try just for the mental clarity. So this is kind of like the concept to you, how underrated the benefit was.
Yeah. Yeah. Now for this one, I think it kind of because I never try carnivore diet, so I can imagine, but I couldn't like really feel how it is. Yeah. Right, and also the peptides, or we use peptides. The peptides also mentioned in one of the video. It says other than other than carnivore diet, other activities like doing exercise, or you try hard to do something and after some times you achieve the results. These kind of activities can generate peptides and make us feel like peace, and then satisfied after doing it. So most of these refer to like longer term activity. It's not like instantly you can get, for example, watching YouTube and then you instantly can get the pleasure. It's not like that. It is like you put in efforts, you need some time, maybe few weeks, few months, or few days, then you can obtain it. And Yeah, for this one, I think when it compares to dopamine, yeah, I think uh, dopamine can affect us more easily because it requires shorter time. And once dopamine become an addiction, uh, yeah, addiction, and then yeah, it's kind of very hard to get out of it. And not to mention endorphin because your time you spend quite a lot of time on dopamine instead of something can be generated to the peptides.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
mm, yeah.
I give I ask you one thing. Do you think, let's say one person have a relatively high level of dopamine, let's say from 0 to 100, let's say it got 60, okay,
Mm,
maintained at 60,
yeah.
and another person, the dopamine is fluctuate, and the average is like 50, but it
Okay.
fluctuates. So sometimes 30, sometimes 80, sometimes
Okay.
40, sometimes
Mm,
60. So
all
it
right.
fluctuates quite a lot, and but average is 50
Mm.
in longer term. Which one will be more affected by the dopamine?
Um, fluctuated. Maintain.
It's actually
I
the
think.
person.
Mm,
Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, I think it's the latter one, which is fluctuating.
Yeah. And how about the first one is not 60, saver at 60 is 70 or 80?
Oh, 70 or 80. Um, 70 or 80. Yeah, I think the in that case will be the first one.
Mm,
Uh, it seems like uh, the levels is very high and it will actually affect the so-called the reception. I forgot the whole term, which is the reception of the things that can generate to dopamine. For that part, the reception actually uh, is kind of like uh, damaged because you stimulate it uh, for the longer term for a long time. Then you will require to it will be it will requires you to do more things to maintain at that dopamine level.
mm. What
Yeah.
do you mean? Do more thing to acquire the dopamine level? Your dopamine level already 80%,
Yeah.
70 or
Let's say
80%. Mm-hmm.
uh, yeah. Let's say today you achieve 80%,
Mm-hmm.
and you want to maintain it means that you want to uh,
Why do I want to maintain it? I mean, it's just stable at the area. It doesn't mean that I purposely maintain it. This is different logic, different things,
oh yeah,
right?
yeah oh, I see. So you means by doing nothing this guy will also have 80
Mm.
uh oh, in that case.
Just like your day, just for example, just like your daily life, you prefer the former one or you prefer the later one. You're doing the same thing. Which one? Which type of dopamine movement will affect you more? It's actually the later one, which is fluctuate. Just
Hmm.
like your, what is it called, the insulin level. Not insulin level. It's kind of like insulin. Yeah, it's kind of like your insulin. When you eat the carbs inside, your
Hmm.
insulin spike. Some people spike very, very high. Some
Yeah.
people still got spike, but not really, really high. And you eat different foods, the insulin spike is different, but you still will feel tired.
Hmm.
And when it spike a lot, it fluctuates a lot, you feel more tired.
Hmm.
You feel more you crave more the food.
Hmm.
And when you come down, when you go out, when you come down, it requires energy.
Yeah.
And it affect your emotion. But when it's stable, of course, I admit that they will have some threshold, because, for example, if you want to say, okay, stable at 100%, it must be not good all the time. Yeah, but sure they will have some threshold, but it is in extreme case. Most of people are not in that extreme scenario. And when your dopamine level fluctuate, it's kind of like you, for example, now you're doing nothing, and now your phone beep, and then, okay, one notification comes in, then your dopamine level actually spike at that moment. You are and every time you activate your phones, and then you see there's a red dot here, and then you click in, and then at that time when it's a queue, and then when you see the queue, your dopamine level spike, and then you click inside, you perform the habit, you click inside. What is your desire? To clear the red dot, and then after you clear the red dot, exit the app. So this is action. Then you get the reward. What is the reward? The red dots disappear. So the dopamine trigger, or I should say the red dot as a cue, trigger your dopamine, trigger your desire to do things. So you always perform this habit. And when you have a stable dopamine level, it's kind of like maybe you are doing one thing, you are focusing on one thing, and nothing affect you, nothing impact you, nothing grab your attention. Yeah.
Yeah, I get it.
And try to imagine, whenever you do a thing long enough time, just like the first thing you mentioned in this conversation, is kind of like have a scores. And then, for example, you are watching a drama, you watch for so long time, 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours. When do you really crave for the drama? Is it in the middle? Is it at the end? Or is it at the beginning? It must be in the beginning.
Yeah, like before that, or after you finish one, and then you start to have the craving for another.
Yeah. And after you watch so long time, and then you tired about it, your dopamine, it kind of like your desire have been fulfilled, have been fully filled, and then you don't want to watch it anymore. You have the bad feeling to keep watching the drama. And then you quit. And next time you repeat the same cycle again. And also it can apply on some other thing, for example, playing a game, computer game, mobile game. People after work, they come back late, they come back late, and then they play the game until 1 a.m. or 2 p.m. 2 a.m. And then, oh, this is the time I have to sleep, otherwise tomorrow I cannot get to work. So he sleep, or she sleep. And then the next day, very, very tired, and then go to work. Yeah, no mood. And but after come back home, repeat the same thing.
So it seems like dopamine is at first I think it is like on one specific activities or what, but if we kind of like really look into how it affects, especially for those people who get addicted to something, and actually these affect their life so much, right? For example, like playing games until midnight, it repeats every day, so it is such a big impact.
Yeah, and also the thing is bad to you, not necessarily require you to do to do it daily. It could just make you do weekly or do it monthly. It could be enough for you. For example, the porns.
Mm.
Have you do you still watch porns nowadays?
Not very often.
Not very often, but still watch.
Yeah. Yeah.
How frequent?
How frequent? I think is like once a week.
Weekly, on weekly basis. Is it not? Is it not often?
Yeah, you can also say this like quite often.
And how many hours you spend for the particular activities? Maybe preparing to watching it, preparing to watch it, and until the time you spend to actually like
Finish the task.
yeah, maybe finish the task, or including you gain back the conscious and focus on doing the work, doing something, doing other things is more meaningful. So what do I mean is, for example, it not necessary the time you spend in masturbations. What I mean is, okay, let's say today I wake up, I feel desire, I feel kind of like, some people use what's the term? Maybe is it the terms called the horror, is something like that. Yeah, it's kind of like another term to describe the desire, but it is in sex. It's in sex. And so, for example, in the morning, I feel that I can, let's say I have feeling, so I want to do that, but now is not the time. So I wait. Okay, until there's a time. Okay, yeah, it's a time. So I have the time, and I'm in a private room. I can do this. And then after I close the video, maybe I still thinking about the thing.
Yeah.
Until some other thing make me focus on, so I totally forget the thing. So it take quite a long time, you know.
Yes, really.
Do you have that feeling?
Like, yes, of course. I think for many things not necessary, like watching porn and masturbation. Many other things, like if you want to, let's say, hang out with your friends, you will also like start having this thing in your mind, thinking of it, and then the time you go out with them, and after going back, maybe you still not coming back from that activity, you still enjoy maybe that in your mind, right? Thinking of it.
But is it a dopamine or is this a peptide?
Yeah,
do you crave for kind of like hang out with friends before you do that? Maybe you're excited, but you still can you still can say, okay, I had to go out 11 a.m. and now it's 8 a.m. I can do something, and then to prevent I forget the things, I set an alarm. Okay, I set 10:30 a.m. and after 10:30 a.m. I have to stop my task and I have to prepare and to go out. And for the period between 8 a.m. to 10:30 a.m., and you can focus the thing you do. You won't kind of like, yeah, maybe if it's too excited, you've been extracted.
Yeah, it depends, really. For right now, I won't, for hanging out with friends, I won't like keep thinking of it. I won't be affected so much.
And for example, having English conversation, it already become a habit already, or we already get used to it. Yeah, it can be similar to hang out with friends. So the more you're doing the thing, then you get used to it. It's nothing excited anymore. You can focus. And sometimes you experience, you actually have a greater focus before you going out with friends.
Mm.
Do you have this kind of experience?
Yes, a lot. When I was
Mm,
in the high school, I
a lot, right?
remember when I want to play basketball the next day with my friends, I was very excited and keep thinking of it the day before we play basketball.
Mm.
Mm. Yep.
No, I mean, do you have the experience that maybe the next day you have to do something, or the next hours or the next few hours you are going to do something,
Mm.
but now you have some free times, and you decided to allocate the time on the task, and you actually have greater focus compared to the other times you're doing the same task. For example,
Oh.
study.
Mm.
Mm. For example,
It-
for
mm.
example, in the afternoon,
Yeah.
you are going to uh you will go out with your friends, maybe go to grab some foods,
Mm.
maybe go to watch movie in
Mm.
the morning. So it's a time for you to study, for you to
Mm.
do revisions.
Yep.
But every weekend, let's say every weekend, you also spend the time doing the same thing.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yep.
And but now, because afternoon you are going to you will go out with your friends, and then in the morning this is a time more precious, because in the past you can spend whole day to study, now you only have half day.
Mm.
And maybe also due to some other reason, you have more focus,
Mm.
and maybe you do more exercise,
Mm.
you become less lazy,
Mm.
you do more things,
Yep.
your efficient level increase, your effectiveness level also increase. Do you have this kind of feeling? Do you have this kind of experience before?
Yeah, I think yes.
Mm,
For this one, I think also I don't really know what is the cause and effect within it. But I think it can be affected by many things. For example, if you uh, have to study or do exercise in the morning, and then if you plan to some activities in the afternoon, in that case, to me it could be like
it's kind of like
yeah,
rewards to you,
a
right?
reward. Yeah,
Mm,
reward, and then maybe for desire part, you already tell yourself, okay, I will uh, get the pleasure after this. So
mm,
my thinking isn't like keep looking for what things can give me the desire, or my scoring system.
mm,
I already told him uh, uh, later after this activity, I will get a chance to score. So uh, I don't
yeah,
have to looking for it.
but to me it is not like dopamine, because dopamine is kind of like when it spike, it have your desire to do something. This is not the dopamine. Yeah, in your brain, it's not dopamine make you have focus. It must be
Um,
some other thing.
yeah, but when you haven't figured out what to do, then uh, isn't that you will feel like uh, not calm? It is like worrying, something like that. Uh, in the video, I remember it says if our brain uh, couldn't find something to score, I mean the dopamine couldn't find something to score, then it will like it couldn't sit quietly. It will like make you worrying or what. It affect
Yeah.
you emotion.
Later I will explain this specifically.
Mm.
I think it's a flaw. I don't think I don't think our brain function like this,
Mm.
and I also don't think we actually we perform our daily life like this. But later I will explain this.
Okay.
And what I want to say is, it's a kind of like difference. Hanging out with friends, playing basketball in the afternoons, uh, going out with your mother, going to the supermarket with your mother afternoons when she tell you you have to go to the supermarket with me because I need to buy a lot of things. You need to help me carry. Or other things. It can be anything that will attract. So it can be anything that can destroy your attention.
Yeah.
But it's just unlike the prawns. Prawn is quite different. The effect to your body, to your mind is really a huge difference from all of these things I mentioned. It's not just something destroy you. This is something like kind of like a virus or kind of like a drug in your mind, and make you keep thinking about this.
Yeah.
This is the point I want to mention for the point of the prawns. And I also remember that I shared you before. I think it's 1 year ago. I stopped watching the prawns. And yeah, after now, if I look back, really very huge impact. Oh yeah, of course I don't know whether it's stop watching the prawns make me feel good, so make me have some peace, make me perform more tasks in daily life, make me study more, think more about my life, having conscious about my life, and think deep. I'm not sure whether it's just purely a single action of stop watching the prawns. I don't know, but it must contribute something, because if I do the comparison, just the comparison before I stopped watching the prawns and after I stopped watching the prawns, after a few months or maybe after 1 year, something like that, and it's a huge difference. For example, every weekend, let's say every weekend or every bi-weekly, you have to spend around half of the day to thinking about this thing. How can you focus on doing something important? You can't. You just can't. Yeah. And also after you complete your task, the masturbation, and you still have a lot of thinking. Yeah. Am I too fast? Should I train more? Yeah, train more harder, train more longer. It seems like too fast, and it seems like not enjoyable. And why I keep doing this thing? A lot of thinking.
Yeah, the guilty actually is one of the biggest negative impacts of every masturbation, I think.
Yeah, so it still keep affecting you. Yeah. So yeah, to me, I will kind of like one of the advice to give people. I seldom give advice. I seldom give the real advice. Yeah. Because I did a lot of discussions. But this is a real advice. The real advice is no porns. Yeah. Stop watching the porns. You can do a masturbation without porns. Yeah. But if you can stop the masturbation, and it's a choice. I would say it's a choice. But stop watching your porns is a real advice.
Yeah, actually, I think it is somehow really difficult when dealing with something which already affect I think for, let's say, for watching porns, I think it already affect me, which is like because you watch it, and then the the result of watching it is really much. I mean, on the dopamine side, which is like how much pleasure it can give to you, and your brain already become less sensitive to that, which means maybe you expect to see something more excited, so that for you to be satisfied. So if you like quick watching porn, it is like you have to reduce your uh um how to say I mean the scoring is becoming let's say previously uh a pictures can give you let's say
Mm.
20, and then after you repeat the same action, maybe pictures only give you 10. You have to find videos give you 50, but after some time it only give you like 25.
Mm. Yeah, I
Yeah.
understand this.
Yeah, if you want to quit this, which means like you quit videos to like nothing,
Okay.
then
Yeah.
yeah, it is really
Yeah.
difficult.
I understand the whole point. Let
Mm,
me explain to you. Quitting the porn or quitting something by using this kind of method is really difficult.
mm,
And if you keep thinking in this way, you just can't quit. And how do I quit the porn?
mm,
It's actually I have the awareness to quit it, but I couldn't do it because yeah, just like you say, it's very difficult. After sometimes, after a few months, it will just come back. And
yeah.
once it come back, it never goes
Mm,
until the next time I have the awareness to quit again.
yep.
Uh, but if compare nowadays, do I always need to fight? Do I always need to fight for the do I always need to fight with the desire to stop watching the porns nowadays? No, I would say uh, uh, in my current life, no.
Mm,
And every time, sometimes I will think, oh yeah, uh, maybe I see some very sexy photo, or maybe I see some sexy girl in
yep.
real life, and after I
Yep.
come back home, I will have the desire. Oh, yeah, but but at the same time, very quickly, I will have the awareness, which is, oh, don't watch it, don't watch it. It's a fake. It's not real. And after you do it, you will keep doing this. So don't do it. Just like after you experience the benefit, after you already gain the benefit from carnal diet or ketogenic diet, and every time you eat carbs, you feel bad. And after sometimes when you have the awareness, when you have the desire want to eat some carbs, but at the same time, within a second, you have the awareness which yeah, don't eat this. Eating this will make you feel bad. So you couldn't get what I'm talking, because first, yeah, you don't do ketogenic diet. Second, you haven't had the experience quitting the porn for a very long time until until you already can enjoy the benefit of stop watching the porn.
Mm,
Yeah, and it's a very difficult to tell the feeling, but it will give you it will give you a huge impact to your life. And one thing I would say is the main contributor to me to quit the porn is having the real sex
mm,
with girl.
mm,
And after you have the real sex with girl, and you're kind of like, I'm not sure, but at least for me, I will stop watching the porn. Yeah,
mm,
because I don't have to masturbate, so I don't have to watch the porn.
mm,
Yeah, I can have the real sex.
yeah.
And so when the time is gone, and then you will feel less, you will feel more easier to stop watching a porn. Sometimes
Mm,
you still have the desire, you just want to watch a porn,
mm,
but you are more easier to stop it.
mm, yeah.
And after some time, really long time, maybe 6 months or 3 months or 6 months, you just feel that, oh, actually the porn is not the real sex.
Mm,
And then by watching it, it's kind of like meaningless. waste of time because it's not the
Yep.
real sex. Yeah, and by watching it, it couldn't give you any. It just gives you pleasure, but it cannot. It cannot help you train. It cannot train you become a better person on the in terms of the sex performance. It cannot improve your sex performance by just
Yep.
watching the porn.
Mm.
After some time you realize that, but when you don't have the real sex experience, you will just think that, yeah, watching the porn and training like this using a different posture can actually improve your sex performance, can actually increase your sex skills. Well, it's not.
Yeah,
Yeah.
isn't that rationalization, finding excuses for?
Not only rationalization, because you don't really know what's the real sex. Have you had
Yeah.
the sex experience already?
Okay, for this one, actually, I wanted to say because actually 2 weeks 2 weeks ago is our Chinese New Year, right?
Mm.
And yeah, at that time I actually uh went back to my girlfriend's hometown with her for 4 days.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and at that time actually I had the chance to have sex, and
Mm.
but that only lasts for 4 days. So uh I'm not sure whether in the long term how it will be. But in that 4 days, really I won't have the desire to masturbate,
Mm.
to watch porn, or or what. It just didn't appear in my
Yeah.
thinking during the days. When you go out, you will automatically focus on
Yes.
the things in your life.
Yeah,
It
you're
seems
right.
like it seems like the needs for sex already be satisfied. You know you can get it uh, uh, at that specific time. Yeah, but not like in the days.
Mm.
Yeah, and yeah, this is my feeling.
Mm. Yeah, you are right. So it's a good chance for you to stop the masturbation. Yeah, of course it's a choice, but stop watching the porn. It's a good chance to start stopping it. Good timing. I mean, good timing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And go to the next point. Just now talk about like our brain have something like a system, have something like score. This one I disagree. And because I've gone through all of this process, to me it's kind of like 3 stages.
Okay.
The first stage is you don't know anything, you don't know much about dopamine, and you're being manipulated. You're being manipulated by the dopamine, but you don't know.
Yep.
And after sometimes, which is go to a stage 2, you understand it, and then you're trying to find some method to try to overtake it or outrun it.
Okay.
But you're still being manipulated, and you feel bad. You really feel bad because you know you are being manipulated, and you just cannot control yourself.
Yeah.
And you know, and you anxious, and you want to avoid it. And whenever you have the feeling you have the thought want to avoid it, but you still fall into the same trap.
Yeah, I'm in this stage.
So
Okay.
this is in the second stage. And the third stage is you really understand. You also understand, and then you're aware. Sometimes you are being manipulated, but you accept it, and it's just nature. You think it's okay. At the same time, it's very important. The time you're being manipulated is very, very little. Why? And this is something I want to say. You couldn't just focus on dopamines in order to let the dopamines affect your life. You couldn't just thinking, I don't want to watch porn, I don't want to watch porn, I don't want to watch porn. Then you can stop watching porn. Try to give you one example. Thinking that try not to think the pink elephants. What's in your mind? Pink elephants. So you cannot focus on something about it. I think it's also mentioned. It also mentioned in one of the video. If I'm not wrong, it's the third video. But in the third video, then the YouTuber mentioned the scoring system, but actually the scoring system is just same as the pink elephants, not different. And but in the third video, the YouTuber actually gave a very good solution. What the solution is doing the right thing and having your goals, focus on something you want to fix, you want to improve in your life, and you are not spending time to not thinking something. You are spending time to thinking what you want to achieve in your life. So I think this is a good starting point, a better starting point. Yeah. So have the awareness of doing the right thing. And also do the real work, provide the value, and then have a mindset of long term, lower your time preference, delay the gratifications. It's just easy. And yeah, dopamines, you still will be affected, you still will be manipulated by dopamine, but you just need to focus on the thing I mentioned just now. And the key point here is you don't need to care about dopamines as long as you are doing the right thing. And then the thing you want to do, the thing you want to achieve.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. So this is. Go ahead.
Yeah. 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 I don't know. Because for me, if you have tried, or if you get used to, or you get addicted to, the kind of like the short-term pleasure, then the thing so-called like maybe meaningful to us, or uh, something related to our goal, yeah, uh, yeah, it seems like you couldn't get the gratification instantly, and then when you do it, uh, yeah, it will like actually make it very difficult to do, because you keep thinking of a shorter way, a shortcut to get the pleasure. Yeah, maybe you are not addicted to or affected much at the current moment, I suppose. Yeah, so how about to people that already get addicted? Yeah, so what is the first step for them to do? Of course, they know what they need to focus, what is good, what is meaningful, what is not. But to them, um, the process is too difficult.
Yeah, it takes time. Of course, it takes time, and it's difficult, of course. And no shortcuts. This is the only way. Just do it. Just like just do it is the only way. So it's a reason. Just do it can be a strategy. And it depends what is the thing you mentioned. For example, let's say your goal is stop watching the porns. So what you should do, what is the underlying motive you actually want to get? Sorry, I mean the underlying motive, or maybe the underlying desire, something like that. You want to get from watching your porns.
Yeah.
Maybe you want to become a man that can do a better job in sex, and you want to satisfy some people, you want to satisfy yourself, you want to enjoy the sense of accomplishment. But after you realize that watching porn cannot achieve the goal, and you just automatically stop doing it. And so you need to focus on the real thing. For example, what's the real thing? The real thing is focus on your relationship. Yeah, focus on your relationship. And yeah, focus on the thing that can give you the real benefits that you want. Yeah, but you always avoid. For example, men want to have sex. They want to have sex with a lot of women.
Yep.
Yeah, but he's still single, and he want to find a girl who also want to make love with him, and he want to find a quick solution. He went to some platform and then keep testing the girls whether you want to make love with me, yeah, whether you want to go out, yeah, to grab a drink, something like that. But this is just it will not solve a problem. You can try, but after some time you should aware that it's not going to solve it. It's not a good solution. So you have to focus on the real relationship. You need to invest into relationship, and then the sex it just come automatically. Maybe it take 1 month, maybe take 3 months, maybe take 6 months, maybe take 12 months. As long as you invest in a relationship, it will just come. Yeah.
Yep. Yep. So it is like to find out a solution to fix it, right? To fix the blank of not doing something, because you're not doing it, you click it, and it will have a blank.
No. Sorry, this is not a point. My point is focus on something real. Focus on the reality. Points will not improve your sex performance, which is something you want. Yeah.
Yep.
It gives you pleasure, but every time after you watch porn, after you finish the masturbation, you feel guilty. It's actually not the thing you want. If this is really the thing you want, why you will feel guilty? You try to replicate, you try to mimic the real sex, and try to recall the memory every time you are watching you are facing to a computer screen, you're watching a porn, and you are doing the masturbation. Are you really are you actually trying to mimic the pleasure? No matter in mental or no matter really in physical, you change your body. Yeah. So why you do that? If you really want just a pleasure, if you really just want the pleasure, and if you really just want the pleasure, why you want to keep the time longer? Sometimes keeping longer actually make you feel more stressed. I mean the stress is not something like okay, I think I should use another term, which is you don't let it come out. Yeah. And then you try to keep it longer and longer and longer. But it's actually kind of like you give yourself a burden and you try to like train yourself. And you also heard some people say that, oh, if you let it come out too quickly, it's bad to your body, something like that. And you next time you become more quicker. Yeah, so this is not a real thing. So you should focus on the real thing.
Yep.
And also another example, for example, you want to earn money, let's say you want to earn money. So something that you always avoid is learn more skill and work hard.
Okay.
And this is something is really, really important, because you need to do that in order to get some money to do investments. But without investment, you can't become wealthy, because you can run some calculation. Let's say every month you can save 3,000. Every year you can save 36,000. and you need to
Yep.
work 10 years in order to save 720,000
Mm.
and 30 years, and you need to work 40 years to earn 1 million Malaysian ringgit, 1 million. And you look at 40 years ago, what is the value of 1 million in compared to nowadays? What is the value of 1 million? You kind of like couldn't understand whether I spend so much time to work hard to earn money to save. Yeah, of course, my saving may increase, but you also need to aware that your saving can reduce after you form a family. And you spend 40 years. Now you are 20. Let's say you are 20 or 26 or 25. After 40 years, you already retired, 65. And at that time, you have 1 million. Yeah, 40 years, 1 million.
Yep.
And what's the value of 1 million in after 40 years? Maybe it's a value equivalent to 500K today, or maybe it's 200K today. We don't know. And also, you didn't take into consideration of you may lose your job future due to the technology, due to a disruptive technology.
Yep.
And you just understand that you cannot just work hard to make enough money. Yeah, and you really need to work really hard, exponentially harder, and you save, and the value of your money exponentially lesser. And you can't like fight against with the nature. You can't like make yourself become the rat in the rat race, keep running in the wheel. Yep. And of course, you can work harder. You can earn a lot of money. You can earn maybe 10,000 per month, 20,000 per month, and you have to start. You start paying the tax, and tax some of your income, take some of your potential savings, and also maybe a CPF. I mean the EPF can also take some of your potential saving. Yeah, maybe you treat it as also a saving if you don't do investment. So at the end, you found that okay, I still need to do investment to become wealthy. So this is also another level of reality. But the first reality is you have to work hard. You have to work hard. You need to have some money in order to grow, to capture the compound interest benefits.
Yep.
1,000, 100% gain is just 2,000. But if you have 1 million, 100% gain is 2 million, and 2 million equal to 40 years of one people's life. Yeah. And looking at the reality, knowing a reality, aware this is the reality, understand this is the reality is not easy, of course. It requires you to keep learning.
Yep.
Yeah. So, yeah. Anything you want to add in?
Yeah, I think the time is running out. Yeah, I actually want to talk about the dopamine fasting, but I think we can bring it to the review session.
Yeah. You can bring it to the review section. But one last point I want to make is think about what I said just now. Do you really think dopamine fasting is a good method? Yeah. Think about it.
Okay. Yep.
Okay, so talk to you tomorrow.
Yeah, talk to you tomorrow, Eric. Goodbye.
Goodbye.